and we will start with Rick Russo.
All right. Hey, Brandon, can you hear me? How you doing?
Need to unmute it. Hold on one second.
Sure.
There we go.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, Brandon, good to talk to you. All right, man. So I don't have to tell you, playing collegiate football is tough enough, but having to deal with a pandemic, everything you guys have been through, fighting through that, and now into practice, what has that been like for you student athletes?
I think it's been exciting and challenging at the same time, but I also think the medical experts and the coaching staff have done a great job of, educating us about how to social distance and different guidelines for when we're outside of the facility as well as in the facility and at practice. They've gotten things and protocols for us to be safe. So it's been exciting, but it's also been challenging at the same time because of the new normal.
We'll go to Brent Hubbs.
Brandon, can you talk just a little bit about the thought process in playing? We're seeing a lot of guys around the country opt out. You've obviously had some injuries, and you're long in the tooth in your college career. Can you just talk about kind of your personal thought process with the summer and then going into fall camp and playing this year?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm all in. I'm ready to play, and I feel like I've worked hard for this senior year, coming back for this 6th year, and I'm all in. We know the risk and we know the challenges, but we've been educated and they do a great job of helping us, because, about, 4 or 5 months ago, we didn't know too much about it. But now that we gather more information every day, our medical staff has just done a great job.
Let's go to David Pascal from Chattanooga Times, and then followed by David Ubben.
Hey, Brandon, this pandemic, especially this past spring, gave us all time to kind of chill and reflect. What has it been like, just this experience? Could you ever imagine, experiencing 2 national championship teams, a transfer, a season-ending injury? Could you have ever imagined all that you've been through when you were coming out of high school?
No, looking back, I couldn't imagine. To think that I would go through all that and to be here now is very unprecedented times. And like I said earlier, it's been challenging, but it's also been exciting. A lot of this stuff, you can't say has happened before. So, it's been great. And I've just been taking it all in strides.
David Ubben?
Brandon, what are the conversations like within the team of sort of understanding that life has to look different from you guys? And what is that sort of conversation within the players about what you guys have to do to be able to maintain that look like?
So when we first got back, there was a lot of questions as to, how we would do things and things like that. But as we got kind of into it, guys got more comfortable. And I think we're to a point now where we're able to know what the protocol is, know the guidelines, and we're able to follow it. And so it kind of allows us to kind of continue on like normal, but we have different protocols that we follow as far as social distancing and things like that, wearing masks in public and in practice and things like that.
Let's go to Mike Wilson, followed by Patrick Brown.
Yeah, Brandon, I think you might have talked about this back around the Gator Bowl, but what went into your decision to come back for a 6th year? Why is that something you wanted to do? And then second question, what have you guys said to Cade Mays this week to kind of encourage him and keep his head up?
So to answer your first question, I think me coming back, the opportunity to play another year, as we talked about earlier, I had season-ending injuries. So just being able to come back, play another year, get more film on tape, and also help the team be successful, I think that's what really went into it. And also the opportunity to get another degree. I'll be graduating in December, so that was kind of what went into that. And, I'm excited, and I'm glad I did, not looking back. And then as far as Cade, Cade's a great guy. He's worked hard. But, the decision's not up to us, but we fully support him in everything that he does and his decisions. So we're happy for him, and we're here working with him.
Patrick?
Hey, Brandon, you've been in 2 big programs now for 2 and 3 years. Just how much have you had to change just your basic routine this year in terms of, having to show at the complex with masks on, having to adjust how you follow the protocols, and even going to classes online? How much of an adjustment for your routine has that been?
Not too much, because in the spring most of my classes were online, so it's not as big of an adjustment for me. But I mean, the biggest thing that I focus on this off season is recovering and taking care of my body. So I feel like I've taken that to another level and to the next step. This off season, I feel like Geronimo and the training staff, they've done a great job of getting me a routine and things to be able to recover from practice and keep my body in tip-top shape.
Let's go to Vince Ferrara, followed by Trey Wallace.
Hey, Brandon, two things. One, what do you think about playing an SEC schedule, even though I know you guys are typically just thinking one game at a time? And then also talk about some of those other young offensive linemen around you. How do you think they've developed either body technique, anything like that?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, I believe it's been kind of what was part of the first question?
The SEC only schedule that you guys will have this year, even though I know you're probably just thinking one game at a time. When you think about that, how cool would that be to play SEC only?
Yeah, I mean, it's very exciting just from, not knowing if we play in like April to now actually having a schedule and things like that. I think it's very exciting. We'd love to play and we're ready to play as a team. And we've been working hard this off season with the new protocol and everything. And just even having the opportunity to play is big and, we're ready to go. So we're excited about it.
And what about your young offensive linemen, their development?
Yeah, the young offensive linemen, they came in, they worked hard. Guys like Spraggins, James Robinson, guys like that, they've came and worked hard. I'm always watching film with them, and just before this, I was watching film with some of the younger guys, just kind of going over practice tape and kind of getting them used to like the fundamentals and different things that we work on in practice, and just kind of help them along. And they've been working on good.
Trey?
Brandon, good afternoon, buddy. What has your relationship been like this offseason? And you had an opportunity to play with him last year with Jarrett Garantano. It's always big to have that center quarterback relationship. So can you talk about that a little bit, how you guys have been working together this offseason leading up to fall camp?
Yeah, well, me and Jarrett, we have a great relationship. We worked hard this offseason. I know we watched a lot of film together in the spring about just different opponents and things we could improve on last year. And, along with him and also the other quarterbacks, we just started kind of watching more film and just trying to see like what we can improve on as far as whether it's communication or technique or anything like that, snaps, anything. So that's kind of working with him and the others.
Let's go to Blake Topmeyer.
Hey, Brandon. Last week when some other conferences canceled their seasons, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, some others, what was that like as a player to see that unfold? And what were your thoughts, as you were waiting to see what Tennessee and the SEC were going to do?
Well, yeah, just, seeing that, the first reaction was kind of sad for those guys in the conference. But, I know that the commissioner and people around our conference will make the best decision for us possible. And, we're excited whether we play or we're not. We want to play.
We'll go to Luis Fernandez, followed by Dan Harrelson.
Hey, Brandon. So much of this offseason seems to revolve around player agency and player power. When you look at the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, you look at just last week with all the players saying they want to play, what happened in Mississippi this year. As someone who's been in college football for so long, do you feel like players have more power and more ability than ever before?
Well, to answer your question, I feel like, the players have a voice and it's great, for players to kind of speak up now. And I think the times in the past 4 or 5 months with all the things that's happened, it's kind of allowed, players to use their voice in a positive way. And I feel like, they're doing a good job with it. So that's how I would answer that.
Dan?
Hey, Brandon, you mentioned another degree. I believe you have a master's degree in sports psychology. Are you working on another one past that? And have you thought about maybe what you may do with that life after football?
Yeah, so life after football, I want to go into sports psychology. So I want to become like a licensed sports psychologist and I to work with an NFL or college team just to kind of give back and help athletes. But yeah, to answer your the first question, I'm working on an ag leadership degree right now. So within that, we're talking about different servant leadership principles and how to communicate and kind of get guys and kind of bring guys along. So that's been helping a lot with me as an older guy and having to, deal with a lot of younger guys and kind of help them along. So I feel like it served me well.
go to Austin Price, followed by Gustavo.
Brandon, talk to me about JT Shrout. How much has he grown over the last year? A guy that was kind of, at the bottom of the depth chart, at this point a year ago, to a guy that, I think the coaches feel like is a serviceable guy that can step in and make plays now. Where have you seen him grow, and kind of what's that relationship like with him?
Yeah, I think as far as all the quarterbacks and him too, as far as mental processing, I think that has went through the roof, especially with this time off. I mean, guys have been able to watch more film and things like that. And so with him and all the other quarterbacks in the room, I feel like we have a lot more depth and also experience because a lot of guys played last year. So I feel like it served him well.
Gustavo?
Brandon, I know how senior games can be very special, and this year is going to be against Florida as the last game of the season at Neyland. Have you thought about, how I know that we don't know who's going to happen, but did you thought about your senior game against Florida in Neyland Stadium, how special it can be?
Yeah, I think that would be real special, being able to be in that atmosphere and play one last time at Neyland Stadium. I think it'd be very exciting, and, hopefully we'll be able to have fans or whatnot, but if we don't, I'll still be excited. Just being able to play one last time is very special to me in Neyland Stadium.
And does it change against like the Florida Gators, since the Florida Gators have been a rival, and it's the biggest rival of Tennessee?
I mean, yeah, most definitely. You have a little more, but I mean, this year since we have all SEC schedule, we got to approach every game the same. Every game is almost NFL like, so you have to be able to come with your A game every game this season.
Time for a couple more. We'll go to David Ubben and then Patrick Brown.
Brandon, when you guys were not inside the program for those 3 months when you were shut down, what were some of the biggest challenges that you had to deal with, or some of your teammates had to deal with during that time?
I think the biggest challenge is finding ways to work out. So we had to be creative. And I think AJ and the strength staff, they've done a good job at sending us home videos every day of how to work out. They sent us bands in the mail, and so they were able to create us a program to kind of move us forward, working along at home. I think that was the biggest thing. And also another challenge that we had to overcome was Zoom meetings. So at first it was kind of weird because we never did it before. So Zoom meetings, we have like team meetings on Zoom, and we also had like position meetings. So I think that was kind of a challenge at first, but we kind of got used to it after we figured out how to work it, and we were able to watch film with the coach, and it almost felt like, we were in the room because we were able to do the same thing we would if we were on campus.
Patrick?
Brandon, you guys obviously have a pretty experienced offensive line, a lot of guys back. I know you guys probably eager to get the pads on and start hitting some people, but what's just been the attitude and the mindset for this offensive line the first couple of days of practice, and what are you guys trying to accomplish then, and how much do you think this group kind of what did you guys work on and focus on during some of the OTAs and the walkthroughs that you guys had before you started practice?
I think our biggest thing that we focused on was probably fundamentals. I mean, so, this year we're incorporating a lot of new things. So I think fundamentals was the biggest thing. And then things that we kind of improved upon from last season, I kind of talked about a long time ago, but just communication and being able to get everyone on the same page. That's kind of the things that we were focusing on. And so if we can improve upon those things, I think we'll be great.
Is that some new schemes that you're talking about, or what are some of the new things you mentioned?
Just like new techniques, and like looking, as we watched the film last year, we kind of figured out like some new ways to do things to kind of help us better ourselves and also help the team in offense. So I think, now that we included that, I think that'll make us even better as an offensive line.
Last question, Blake Topmeyer.
Yeah, Brandon, you mentioned earlier, hopefully fans will be there for these games. You guys fuel so much off the fans. Have you thought about that, what it's going to be like to play a season? They're talking right now about 25% capacity at Neyland. How different is that going to be for the players with a stadium only being 25% full?
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting dynamic for us, and it'll be something new. But I think the main thing and the biggest overall thing is just being able to play. Like I said, we all want to play, and we're all in. But, it'll be interesting. So it'll be something we have to adjust to. But, regardless, we're going to go out there and give it all for Tennessee.